start by lying on our backs. And so we'll grab the bolster and place the bolster for the upper back and a block for behind the head. So if you don't have a bolster, you can roll up a blanket or a towel or even use a cushion. And if you don't have a block, you can also use a book. So if you have a large book about roughly the size of a block, you can place that on the floor so the block is upright, and we'll lay onto our backs. And we want the upper back to be resting on the bolster, and then the block comes just at the back of the head for support. So play with this a little bit until you find a position that's comfortable for you. So we want the upper back supported, the backs of the shoulders resting on the bolster, just to get that nice opening through the heart and through the chest. And then we have a few options with the feet. You can bring the feet to the outer edges of the mat and knock the knees together, option one. Or if it feels good, you can bring the soles of the feet together in Supta Baddha Konasana. And we'll get a good opening here through the inner thighs and the groins. And then one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. And just wiggling around until you find yourself in a comfortable position, grounded into the mat. Might feel good to close down the eyes here. Just start by noticing that connection with the hands on the body, helping to ground you into your practice, helping you arrive here. And just acknowledge that you've carved out this time for yourself and how important that is. Whatever stage of your pregnancy you're at, it can be really challenging to find time for self-care. So just honoring the fact that you found these few minutes for yourself today to tune into your breath and your body. And take a moment to notice how the body is feeling today. So you might just do a scan, starting at the crown of the head, moving through the back and shoulders and chest area, down towards the belly, the low back and the sacrum, and feeling into the hips and any sensations that might be coming up there. And if you notice any places of tension or niggling or tightness, send the breath there. Maybe slowing down the breath to really sense what's happening in those areas. And once you've done your body scan, take a moment to tune into your breath. We're breathing in and out through the nose. Noticing how the breath is this morning. Is it ragged or sharp? Maybe it's very shallow. Seeing if we can lengthen especially that exhale. And then noticing the pauses that happen naturally at the bottom and the top of the breath. When we inhale, there's a slight pause that happens when we get to the top of the breath. And on the exhale, a slight pause at the bottom. And once we've really tuned into that breath, we can turn our attention to the mind this morning and what might be happening with our thoughts. During pregnancy, it's very normal to have lots and lots of emotions arising. Everything from excitement to trepidation. Even fear can come up. just noticing if any of those thoughts or feelings are coming up. And just acknowledge them and use the breath to let them go. Our practice is here to help us connect the breath with the movement and to slow the mind. And we have the opportunity to really tune in to what is happening for us physically, mentally, and emotionally on the mat. Without judgment, we can just notice. We're going to take a few breaths together. So on the next exhale, let all the air out. And then we'll take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and sigh it out. 2 more, just like that. Deep breath, inhale. Open the mouth and sigh. Last breath here. As you're ready, gently blinking open the eyes. And then if you've had your feet close together, knees apart, you can use the hands to gently draw the knees back in. Now, depending on where you're in your pregnancy, it might feel okay just to roll over and come up to a seated position. But if you're feeling like that's quite tricky, you can roll to your side first and very gently place your hand on the floor and use both hands to press yourself up. And that's a nice supported way to come up to a seated position. And we'll find a seat here. So a few options for our seat. We can be cross-legged, so crossed at the ankles, or we can have one foot resting in front of the other, whatever feels comfortable for you. And see if you can just wiggle side to side a little bit and really engage with those sits bones so that they are rooting and grounding into the floor. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll draw the belly in, lift the collarbones. From here, we're going to take a deep breath. Inhale, sweep the arms high, gaze up towards the fingertips. And exhale, hands come to heart center. 2 more, inhale. Slow, smooth breath on the inhale. And exhale, slow, smooth breath. Hands come to heart center. Seeing if we can match breath to movement. On the inhale, slide the hands high. Fingers come to touch. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Take another breath here. Deep breath in. Pausing at the top, we'll take the left hand behind us as we start to reach the right arm across the body and gently resting that palm on the outside of the knee. On the inhale, lift the chest, and then very gently, without using the hands to sort of twist into this, we'll use the core to twist over to the left side. It's a very gentle twist here, so not using those hands again to grip and really turn us to the side, but using the core, drawing the belly in, keeping the crown of the head long, reaching for the sky. 1 more breath. And on your next inhale, we'll bring the arms back high. Inhale. And exhale, this time twisting over to the left. So left palm comes to outside of right leg, right knee rather. Lift the chest. And then exhale, starting to gently twist over to the right side. Seeing if we can keep both sits bones even on the mat. So there's no lifting of the hips. And we'll take 1 more breath. On your next inhale, reach the arms high again. This time we'll interlace the fingers and then turn the palms so they're facing up towards the sky. And then stretching side to side, maybe wiggling side to side, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. On the inhale, we'll press the palms high. On the exhale, turn the palms towards the face and exhale, rounding through the upper back. So drawing that belly in, spreading through the shoulder blades. Inhale, press the palms high. Draw the belly in. Exhale. So this is very similar to the cat-cow movement we get when we're on all fours. We're just working in to the back, getting some movement here in the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Drawing the hands high one more time. This time we'll release that left arm all the way down to the floor, staying high on the fingertips, reaching the right arm over so we get a nice stretch for the side body. See if you can continue to ground that right hip towards the mat. So you get nice length all through the side body. Drawing the shoulder away from the ear, maybe gazing up to the sky. On the inhale, reaching that arm high, and we'll come to the other side, so just slide those props out of the way if they're getting in your way. And then reach left arm all the way up to the sky. This time, gently drawing the left hip toward the floor. One more breath. And we'll bring the right arm all the way up to meet left. Inhale. This time we'll bring the arms behind the back. So reach the arms behind you, continuing to sit up nice and tall. Interlace the fingers. And if you like, you can take a grip with the fingers, so our fingers are interlaced, and we can start to draw the palms down towards the mat. Lift the gaze gently, and feel the chest lifting here. So collarbones lift, getting a nice stretch through the front of the shoulders, through the chest. More breath. And releasing that gently. Take the hands back to the knees, and from here we'll just roll the shoulders a few times in either direction. Just releasing what we've worked on there. And we'll come into a tabletop position, so coming onto all fours. So we want our hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. And we have a really strong connection here with the hands. So pressing through the finger pads and spreading through the fingers. So you're almost gripping the mat. We press through the shins, they're rooted heavily to the mat, and we draw the belly in. On the inhale, we'll gaze forward, lift the chest, exhale. Draw the chin to the chest. So working into our cat-cow here. Smooth and slow breath, so just use the movement as the breath guides you. Inhale. And then we exhale, drawing the belly in, chin comes toward the chest. And see if there's any movement that's calling you here. So it might feel good to bring the knees slightly wider apart and start to work into some hip circles as well. That can feel quite nice. Or maybe you want to get some more movement in the upper body, so we're bending through the elbows, rounding through the back, just moving in whatever way feels good for you. Getting out all those creaks and cracks. And after a few breaths, we'll switch directions. So just going in the opposite direction, whatever you've just done. And gently coming back to center after you've completed a few rounds in the other direction. From here, we'll come back to tabletop and we'll extend the left leg behind us. So left leg extends and we come to the toes. So toes are curled in. And from here, we'll reach the right arm forward. So you get this nice long line through the body, really rooting down through the left palm, draw the belly in. On the inhale, we'll start to reach the arm high and reach behind us, just gazing over that shoulder towards the toes. Inhale, come back to center. Inhale, reach behind. Exhale. Inhale, reach high. And exhale. On the inhale, this time we're going to hold here for just a couple of breaths, seeing if you can reach that arm a little bit longer, feeling a nice stretch through the chest. Opening up through the shoulder and keeping engagement through that leg. So think of pressing the back of the thigh to the sky. On the exhale, we'll bring the hand back to center and come back to tabletop. We'll take the same movement on the other side. So right leg extends behind us this time. Reach the fingertips forward, draw the belly in. On the inhale, reach that arm back, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. And on the next breath, reach the arm back. And see here if you can really reach for that back foot opening through the chest. If this is a little bit difficult for the neck, you can keep gaze to the floor. One more breath. On your next exhale, let's bring the hand back to center and return to a neutral spine and tabletop, and do a couple of cat-cows here. And when you're ready, coming to center and then tucking the toes, and we'll press back into our downward facing dog. So it's our first downward facing dog. So tune in right away to how your dog feels this morning. What do you need? Maybe it's some pedaling through the feet. Maybe you just want to find stillness right away. But just move in a way that feels good for your body this morning. Maybe coming high on the balls of the feet and then pressing the heels down toward the mat. So one more breath here. And then we'll find stillness in our dog. So especially in pregnancy and later stages, it might feel better to take a wide stance with your dog and keep a deep bend in the knees. Pressing through all four corners of the palm and really gripping with the fingertips. Gaze is between the feet, and see how high we can lift those hips. Drawing the belly in and gently pressing the chest towards the thighs. One more breath here. And then we'll start to walk the hands back. We'll take a rag dog here, but first, on the inhale, lift the chest. So let's get some nice length in the spine. Draw the shoulder blades back and then fold forward into our rag doll. So again, working into whatever feels good for you. You might want the feet really wide for this one to create space for the belly. You can grab opposite elbows if that feels good. And maybe some gentle rocks side to side. Just releasing through the hamstrings here. Maybe nod the head, maybe shake the head. Seeing how much tension can you release. One more breath. And then we'll lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, and then fold forward again, Uttanasana. From here, let's get a deep bend in the knees. Plant the left hand to the floor and reach the right arm high. Inhale. So gently twisting here, bending into that left knee. Exhale, bring right arm to the floor, and then we'll place the right hand on the floor, lift the left arm to the sky rather, bending through right knee. Exhale. So just alternating side to side with your breath. Right hand lifts, bending into left knee. Inhale. Exhale, right arm to the floor. Left hand lifts, inhale. Exhale. One more time, deep breath in. And exhale. Reach high. And exhale, fold forward. This time we'll start to walk the hands all the way out. And we'll find plank here. Right away, dropping to the knees if that feels better for you, if you have any tension in the back. Dropping the knees, keeping the core engaged though, so really working through that core. If you're in plank, we're getting strong energy through the heels, so really press the backs of the thigh to the sky. One more breath. And then we'll sit back, drop the knees into child's pose. So knees come wide, we sit back towards the heels, reach the arms forward. Just take a breath here. And child's pose will be your resting pose. So it's a great alternative to downward facing dog. So if the dog gets too much, you can always come into child's pose at any time in your practice and take a rest. All right, we'll come back to our downward facing dog, so we'll tuck the toes and press back into downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. And this time we'll look forward, start to walk up towards the hands. Halfway lift, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, and we'll fold forward. Uttanasana. Bend through the knees deeply. Start to reach the arms high as we press into the feet. Lift all the way to the sky. Inhale, palms come to touch. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Gaze to the sky. Exhale, bend through the knees, bend through the hips. Exhale to the floor. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the hands, and we'll step right leg back and then left leg back. Coming into tabletop and into child's pose. One breath here. And coming back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, on an inhale, we'll take a big step forward with the left foot. So bring the left foot up between the hands and we'll drop the back knee down. So we're going to use blocks here for our low lunge if you have them. And we'll place our hands on the blocks, and you can either have them on a high position or a low position, depending on what feels good for you. Right away, we'll switch on that right glute. So squeezing into the right glute, drawing the belly in, and lifting the chest. Once you've found the action with the legs, then we can lift the arms if that feels okay. So think of that scissoring action with the legs. You want to draw the left hip back as you gently press the right hip forward. Strong legs here. Keeping the breath flowing. We can release the hands to the blocks. And here we'll take half Hanuman. So gently straightening through that front leg and starting to lift the toes of the front foot. So we get a nice stretch through the back of the leg. A couple of breaths here. Then we'll take some movement with breath. So on the inhale, see if you can bend through that front leg. Deep breath in. Coming into low lunge. And then exhale, half Hanuman. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Deep breath in. Lift the chest. And exhale. We'll rebend that leg. And then from here, we're going to turn the back leg in. So we turn it in slightly. And then we can take that left arm and place it on the left thigh. Inhale for a modified side angle here. So feeling a stretch through the side body, supported with that thigh. Maybe gazing up to the sky. One more breath. And exhale, reach that arm back to the floor. You can move the blocks out of the way. We're going to tuck the back toes and either stepping into plank or dropping the knees right away. So taking a breath here, inhale, and then finding your downward facing dog. Looking to the top of the mat, we're going to step all the way up. Halfway lift here, Ardha Uttanasana, and fold forward, Uttanasana. Bend through the knees, sweep the arms up. Inhale, gather the breath. Exhale, bend through the knees. Folding forward. Halfway lift. Lift the collarbones. Exhale. Plant the hands and we'll step back. Either plank or dropping the knees. One breath. And then coming back into child's pose. One breath here. And then we'll find your downward facing dog. right leg forward, dropping the back knee down. And again, we can find those blocks. Placing the blocks on whatever position feels the best for you for your low lunge, and right away switching on that left glute. Lifting the chest here, drawing the belly in. And once you have that foundation, then we can lift the arms. And just watching here that we're not dumping into the low back. So that can happen sometimes in our low lunge. So we want to make sure that we're staying lifted through the chest, through the core, and really using the action of the leg. So think of that scissoring action, drawing the right hip back. So you gently press the left hip forward. Feeling strong and stable in the legs, pressing into the big toe at the front of the leg. One more breath here. On the exhale, we'll start to reach the arms back. And again, using the blocks if you'd like for half Hanuman. Straightening through that front leg. Flexing through the foot. Feeling the stretch. And then we'll use our breath and movement to move between these two actions. So on the inhale, coming into your low lunge. And exhale, half Hanuman. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, breath in, lift the chest. And exhale. One more time. Deep breath in. And exhale. And then we'll rebend through that front leg. You can move the blocks out of the way. And we'll gently rotate that left leg in rather, and right arm on the right thigh. Reaching over, finding a nice side stretch for the body here. One more breath. And gently release that arm, coming back to the floor. Planting the hams, tucking the back toe. So either stepping back into your plank or dropping the toes, and then hovering here for one breath. And then pressing back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here in downward dog. Just to reset. This time we'll lift the left leg high. Inhale, all the way to the sky. Look between the hands, and we'll step up. Foot comes between the hand. Spin the back foot down, 45 degrees, and really root into the feet. Draw the belly in. Get lots of action through the legs to lift you up high, finding your warrior one. So in warrior one, we're switching on the right glute. We're drawing the left hip back, gently rotating the right leg forward. We're lifting through the chest, pressing into the outer edge of that back foot and pressing into the big toe of the front foot. On the inhale, reach the arms a bit higher, and then exhale, we'll take lightning bolt here. So reaching the arms back, leaning forward, getting length through the spine. Inhale and exhale. Two more just like that. Deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath, inhale and exhale. This time taking left arm forward, sweep it all the way high, exalt your warrior, reach down the back of that right leg. Inhale. And then exhale, bowling bar that back arm, bring it high, coming onto the ball of the back foot for high lunge here. One breath. And then we'll find warrior two. So we'll open up that back foot. So the back foot spins so it's parallel with the back edge of the mat. And we take a deep lunge on that front leg. So see what feels good for you. Might feel better to stay high, or you can come down into your warrior two. So here we're pressing into the back edge, outer edge of the back foot, and we're pressing into the big toe of the front foot. Chest lifts, extending through those fingers. On the inhale, we'll start to take the palms together up high. Palms come to touch, lift the front foot, inhale and exhale. We'll do that again. Deep breath in, lift the toes, gaze high, palms come to touch, exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. From here, we'll flip the palm, lean forward, and then we'll reverse the warrior, reaching down the back leg. Holding here for a couple of breaths. Gently start to exhale by taking that elbow and placing it on that thigh. So we'll take left arm to left thigh, and we'll take side angle here. Option to have a block if you'd like, and you can place that on the outside of the foot. With the right arm, we'll sweep it overhead, and we'll open the chest to the side, drawing the shoulder away from the ear. So either option is to have the elbow resting, forearm resting on the thigh, or hand on block. And really pressing into the outer edge of that foot. So you get nice action through the leg, long stretch through the side body. One more breath here. And reach that arm toward the floor. We'll take the hands to the inside of the foot. You can move the block out of the way, and we'll shuffle that left foot out to the side, coming down onto that knee. Hands come to the inside of the foot, and then option to turn the toes out slightly so we get some more opening for the hip. Now this is where you can use your props. If you need to, you can bring in the bolster, and that can feel really nice just to rest on the bolster here in our lizard lunge. Other option is to use the blocks. So I'll show a variation for that, which is we can take the blocks and stay high here, and that can be really nice for the hips as well. If you have a little bit more flexibility in the hips and you want to come all the way down, you can come down to the elbows. Might feel good to turn the toes out as well and then come to the outer edge of the foot. So we're really opening up into that outer hip. Staying here for a couple of breaths. One more breath. When you finished your last exhale, we'll plant the hands and we'll tuck the back toes and we'll step back into our downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling through the feet. Finding stillness here in your dog. Right leg lifts high, three-legged dog, flexing through that foot. And we'll step the foot nice and high between the hands. Spin the back foot down 45 degrees, and then finding the strength in the legs before you gather the arms and lifting high into warrior one. So the back foot is pressing down into the mat. Really ground that foot, and then we'll ground the big toe of the front foot, finding warrior one here, drawing the belly in, lift the chest. Inhaling here and exhaling, slow, smooth breaths. On the next exhale, we'll start to reach the arms behind us, finding our lightning bolt. Exhale, reaching the arms back, chest forward. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, breath in. Exhale. One more time. And then right hand lifts high. Inhale. See if you can exalt that warrior. So reaching right arm high. Gently reaching the fingertips down the back of the leg. Then we'll bowling ball that back arm up. Coming onto the ball of the back foot. Inhale. Exhale. Let's open to warrior two. So shuffle the legs around until you find your position. So especially in pregnancy, we might want to have a wider stance for more supported balance here. So if you want to, you can shuffle that right foot out wide so it's coming more to the outer edge of the mat rather than that heel to inner arch alignment. We could have a heel to heel alignment. Reaching the arms high, gazing over that middle finger. Lift the chest, draw the belly in. On the next inhale, we'll lift the arms high, start to lift the toes, gaze high, inhale, exhale. Inhale, matching breath and movement. Inhale, And exhale. One more time. Finding warrior two, flip the palm, lean forward, reverse the warrior, inhale. And we'll find side angle on this side. So again, bringing the forearm to the thigh, or option to take a block and place that block on the tallest edge, reaching left arm overhead, getting a nice stretch to that side body. Really press in to the outer edge of that back foot. Or we can have our forearm resting on the thigh. One more breath here. Coming back up to warrior two. And then we'll windmill the arms to the floor and we'll walk the toes out. So dropping the back knee, and we'll take lizard lunge on this side. So the toes turn out, hands come to the floor. And again, using props as you need. So maybe using the bolster and placing that under the body so that you can rest the forearms here. Maybe using the blocks, but I'll let you decide what feels good for you. An option to turn the toes out and then come to the outer edge of that foot so you get more of an opening for the hip. And we'll take a few breaths here. So working to whatever you're most comfortable with. We shouldn't feel any pain. Tension is okay, but the breath is what we're using to release that tension. Two more breaths here. And slowly coming back up. Coming back onto the palms and then moving any props out of the way. Tuck the toes. We'll step back into our plank. And then pressing back, downward facing dog. We'll take 2 cleansing breaths here. So on your next exhale, let all the air out. And then deep breath, inhale. Sigh it out. One more time, deep breath in. Sigh it out. Dropping to the knees and then sitting the heels back, finding your child's pose. Just letting everything settle. Very slowly start to walk the hands back. We'll take a yogi squat here. So I recommend using blocks, especially if you're in the later stages of pregnancy. So I'll show a variation with that. So you want to take 2 blocks and stack them. Then we can come up to a low squat. So we'll take the toes, turn them out. Turn this way so you can see me. We'll place the blocks under our seat and sitting down on the blocks. We'll take the elbows and bring them onto the inner thighs. Hands come to heart center. So the important thing with yogi squat here is that we have opposing action of elbows pressing into the insides of the knees and the knees pressing back into the elbows. Lift the chest, let the shoulder blades gently engage, but draw away from the ears. Draw the belly in. Nice hip opener here. We'll take a few breaths. When you're ready, we'll release those blocks away from us and coming onto our backs. So to get down toward the floor, we want to come onto our side and then lower down all the way. Now for some of us, this is where we will take our Shavasana. If you're okay on your back, you can do that. So you can be on your back. You bring the feet to the floor and knock the knees together, just like we started off with. Or we can just bring the feet out wide and take our corpse pose. So hands away from the body, letting the feet drop out to the side. So options for you. But if you are in the later stages of your pregnancy, I'll just show you how to set up comfortably for your Shavasana. So it might feel nice to place a block underneath the head. We'll be lying on our side here and having the arm resting out to the side in front of you. And then with the leg, it might feel nice to put a bolster between the thighs. In our Shavasana, we'll gently close down the eyes. Just taking a moment here to acknowledge the practice, to acknowledge yourself for showing up on your mat today, for giving time to your breath, to your body, to your mind. All things that are so wonderfully beneficial for you and your little one. You might want to place your hands on the belly. Just feel the energy in your palms, radiating on your belly, sending that energy, love, and light to your baby. Noticing the breath as all control is now let go of, and we just let the breath move as it knows exactly how to in the body. Allowing your body to breathe itself. Maybe noticing the coolness of your inhale as the air comes in through the nostrils. The warmth of the breath as it leaves your nostrils. When you're ready, slowly starting to deepen that breath. Turning your attention to the body. Maybe starting to bring some gentle movement back to the body. Maybe wiggling your fingers and toes. If you're on your backs, maybe taking a nice big stretch. Reaching the arms above the head, pointing through the toes. Might feel nice to bring the knees into the chest and gently rock side to side. When you're ready, you can roll off to your side. And if you're already on your side, you can gently release any props you might have. We'll take a seated position, all coming up to seated when you're ready. Supporting yourself back up. And either finding a cross-leg position or one foot on the floor in front of the other. We'll take the hands to heart center. Just take a moment here. For the last time in the practice today, we'll breathe together. So on the next exhale, let all the air out of the nose. And then deep breath in. Open the mouth side out. One more time, breath in. Exhale. Taking our thumbs to third eye for wisdom, thumbs to lips for kindness, and thumbs to heart center for love. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.